Hello, this is a quick demonstration video used to help anyone that is not familiar with WordPress who is registered to become an author on the apprenticeshipnetwork.co.uk. So if you want to log into the site, you can go to the login URL, which is shown here, and this is also shared on our site. Enter your username and password and use the login button to go through to the back end of WordPress that will allow you to post content as an author on the site. If you've lost your password, you can use the password reset link here, and this is a link back to the homepage of the website. So when you've logged into WordPress on the apprenticeshipnetwork.co.uk, that will take you through to the WordPress dashboard. Now, from here, you can add your first blog post, and there's a couple of ways to do this. You can use the post link here and use the add new link, or you can do create new post. When you press either of these, this will take you through to the post editor. When you click on the new post button, it will take you through to the post editor page, which uses the Gutenberg editor within WordPress. Now, the Gutenberg editor uses content blocks, and we'll have a look at some of these in a second. So the first thing for every post, it needs an interesting post title. So this is the first thing that appears on your post. So some of the basics now in terms of the content blocks, the default block is a paragraph. So this is a paragraph. And when writing any type of content, if you press enter, this will take you to a new paragraph, but it also gives you the option to add a different type of content block using the add block button. So a couple of the basic ones are a bullet point list, and let's have a look at this. So this would be bullet 1, bullet 2 as an example. Now I want to add an image, so another basic one is an image, and I can add that using the image button here, and we'll look at that in more detail in a second. And one of the other ones that you would use for a WordPress post would be a subheading, and this would use the heading block, and normally the default headings type here is H2, so let's just call this a subheading. And subheadings are important to break your article up to make it more readable. So that's some of the basics using the WordPress Gutenberg editor, and we'll look at this in more detail now using an example. So this is an example of a post that I had already set up, and we're going to just use this to go through a few of the basics. So you can see my heading here, engaging heading based on what the article is on. And the first thing that I'm going to look at is adding a hyperlink. So I've mentioned WordPress here, and I may want to link to the external WordPress site here. So what I can do is highlight. The easiest way is just to write your text, highlight the word, click on the link button here that pops up, and then I've already got the link to WordPress here. Now because that is an external link, well, let's just do that again. Because that's an external link, I would like it to open up in a new tab. So I would select the new tab option there, and then press the submit button, and that now appears as a hyperlink. Now, if I wanted to link to an internal article, I wouldn't open the new tab. I would just go directly across to the other link. So here we're talking about the registration form, and that's internal. So I know the name of that article is called Become an Author. So if it's an internal link, you can search for it. So I've typed in Become, and just give that a second, and you can see the page here, Become an Author. And I didn't select that to be opening a new tab because it's an internal link. So that's just hyperlinks first up. Next up, let's look at inserting a featured image and an image into the article itself. So featured images can be placed. You've got two tabs on the right hand side here, document and block. So if we look at the document tab and we scroll down, there's a few other things in place here, categories, tags, and we'll look at them in a second. But if you come down as far as the featured image, here's where you insert the featured image. Now, a featured image will always appear at the top of the blog post, and we'll have a look at this in a second once this image is published. But I know I want to upload a new image for this to be the featured image, so I'm going to select this from a file upload. I've already got my file here, and I've named it using a relevant file name to maybe help with SEO purposes. So I open that, just give it a second to load. Now I've already loaded the same image, so instead of using this one just to speed us up, I'll go to this one. You can set up your alt text here. I've set it up as how to use WordPress, and I can set that image as the featured image for the post, and you can see how it shows up here. Now, just to have a look at that afterwards, I'm going to press the preview button, and we'll come back to that in a second. So that's showing how to do the featured image. Now, if I want to put an image into a post after this paragraph, I can go down to a new paragraph, use the add block feature, go to image here. Now I could upload another image, or I can select one from the media library. So just for handiness, we'll go to the media library. And if I wanted to use that image, I could select it from the media library, set up my alt text, and select that image so that it's inserted into the post. Now I don't actually want that, so I'm going to remove it in a second. But that's just it. So if you want to get rid of a block, you can use the three dots and remove block. So that's how to insert the image. Now if we go back to the preview, you can see, scroll down, and our featured image automatically shows up at the top of the post, and that's not something you actually have to insert yourself. That's what happens with the featured image for this theme itself. Next up, let's look at some SEO basics and using the Yoast SEO plugin. So go on to the right hand side here, to the document tab again. Some of the basic things that we can use here is categories and tags, and we'll look at them in a second. You can see Yoast SEO is here. All this is just a quick checker to show the readability analysis and the SEO analysis, so you can use that as a check, but we're going to look at the plugin itself in a second. So the categories is slightly bears some bit of importance for SEO. So the default category for all posts is apprenticeships, and if you're an apprentice, you can use the apprentice category as well, and that's just basically to categorize the type of site user that you are. If you're an employer or a training provider, you could select them as well. The tags, I've already added tags as well just to speed us along, but to add a tags, you can just type in here and press enter or use a comma. So relevant tags, because I want this to rank for how to use WordPress, and also it's about the Yoast SEO plugin, just to categorize it or tag it within the site itself and to add some value in terms of SEO. That's the terms that I used, and I've also put in apprenticeships here because that's what the site is about, obviously. So using categories and tags can just add some value in terms of SEO as well. The other features here we'll not look at. We can just leave them as default. That's probably the best thing to do. So if you scroll to the bottom of your post, you can see the Yoast SEO plugin and the functionality here. So the two scores that we looked at were SEO and readability. So what you want to do for your SEO, each article should have a focus keyword, and my focus keyword for this article is how to use WordPress. It's not too long, just 4 words. So there's a possibility that we might rank in the search engine ranking pages for this. Probably unlikely because there's a lot of competition for this type of thing, but obviously this is just a how-to guide that we wanted to put together, so it's relevant to the post. Now what you want to do then is set up your SERP snippet, and this is how this will look in the search engine results page such as Google. So you've got the mobile result, and that picks up the featured image. Google may change this to appear differently, but this is how we're designing it for how we want it to look. So there's how the mobile result looks, and there's how the desktop result may look. So you've got your post title, you've got the URL, and then the description of the post itself. So we can now edit this to get it to look or to appear how we may want it to. So you can go on and edit your snippet. Now the slug makes up the URL itself, so that normally comes up as default, but you can customize the slug here, and that will link back on the right hand side to your permalink here. So the URL slug can be customized, and that will get updated there as well. So the meta description for the for SEO purposes is important. So this goes back to what's going to show up in the search engine. So you want to design this to add some value in terms of optimization. So I've given a summary of what the article is for, and I've got my keyword and my meta description as well. So this article shows you how to use WordPress and the Yoast SEO plugin. Again, because that's what the article is about. Now, to look at the analysis, this will give you some feedback on SEO as well. So you can use the Yoast SEO plugin to optimize for search engines. So this is telling me I've got the key phrase in a subheading, but I could possibly use more key phrases or synonyms in your higher level subheadings. Now I'm not going to do that because I think one is enough for the purpose of this article, and I don't want to flood it and overload it. It's given me a suggested improvement on the text length. It's only 270 words. This is slightly below the recommended of 300 words. Now, I've not finished the article, but ideally you'd want to be looking at a minimum of 600 words really. And then these points now just go through an analysis on the SEO and using the plugin. So it gives you some. I'm all green here, but if these turn up red, it gives you some suggestions on how you can actually tweak it as well. So I've used image alt tags as well when I set up the featured image. So if I hadn't used them, that will probably come up there as red, and that will advise on to do that, just to add some more relevant content for SEO purposes. So that is the SEO part of it. And if we click across to the readability part, that will give us some tips as well. So passive voice, it gives some suggestions on how we can improve, and you can actually switch these on and off in the post. It goes back up and highlights the bits here in this kind of pink color, and that gives you suggestions on the parts that you can actually change there as well, and same with transition words. And it just goes through readability really in terms of the length of sentences, paragraphs, consecutive sentences, and variety. So it just helps you to optimize the post that way. So that's the two main features of the Yoast SEO plugin and how to use it. And again, that would be combined with your categories and your tags and your use of alt text in your images, etc. So that's it with the Yoast SEO plugin. A couple of things just to remind yourself about: using the preview button to see how your post will look. That'll open up in a new tab, and if you're not ready to publish your post, you can save the draft. That will automatically save every few minutes anyway, but if you want to just to be sure, you can save that at any point. And when you're happy with your post, if you've previewed it first and it looks okay, here's the publish button here to publish it live on the site. When editing a post in WordPress, you may not be able to complete it all in the one go. So a draft version will automatically save in WordPress if you haven't published it yet. And if you want to go on and edit that, you can use the post link here and go to all your posts, and any versions, either drafts or published versions of your post, will show up here. You can see this one is marked as draft, and if you want to go back and edit that, or even indeed a published post, you could go back in and make changes if you've proofread it and seen an error or wanted to add some content. And you can do that using the edit button here.